Pazicki, and this is an ACT Science Research Summary question. So this question says, suppose that in experiment 3 that an equal concentration of pyrocatechol solution was adjusted to have a pH value of 8. Based on the data trends in table 3, after 3 drops of potato juice were added to that solution, what is the most likely color scientists would expect to see? Now it's important that in a question that's really wordy and has lots of scientific terminology like pyrocatechol, pH, and all these different things, that you really understand what the question's asking you. So if you ever get confused, read the experiment it's referencing or look to the text to understand. So here, the experiment 3 says that solutions of equal concentrations of pyrocatechol were adjusted to have pH values of 4, 7, and 10. 3 drops of the above potato juice were added at room temperature to each solution, and the resulting color change after 5 minutes time were recorded in table 3. So what this table shows is that 3 different solutions of pyrocatechol were adjusted to have different pHs, 4, 7, and 10. Then at these different pH levels, they added 3 drops of potato juice to each one, and they looked at what color occurred after 5 minutes. So this is what this table is telling you. Depending on the pH, after adding potato juice, this is the color that results after 5 minutes. So now the question is asking you, so assume that there was a solution that was adjusted to have a pH value of 8. So they're saying that there is you have a pyrocatechol solution, you adjust the pH to be 8, so that would fall somewhere in here, in between 7 and 10. So they have a pH of 8, and then they added 3 drops of potato juice, just like they did to all these other ones. And what would be the color you'd expect to see? And so this is one of those questions where you have to look for trends in the data. And if you're looking at, as the pH increases, the color of the intensity of the yellow decreases. So it goes from dark yellow at 4 to yellow at 7 to colorless at 10. And since 8 is really close to 7, we can assume it's not going to be, well, let's go through the answers actually first and eliminate them. We can assume it's not going to be dark yellow because the trends in the data don't lead us to think that it would go back to dark yellow if it's trending towards colorlessness. We probably could eliminate yellow just because if it's going to be a little bit higher in pH, we're expecting a color change, because every time they've changed the color in the table, it has changed. Every time they change pH, it has changed color. So we wouldn't expect it to stay the same. And then we probably would not expect colorlessness, even though we're heading towards colorlessness, because we're only a small pH value away from 7. We're only 1 pH value away from 7. And so we'd expect just a smaller color change. Because if we see just from 4 to 7, which was 3 values of pH, we saw that it went from dark yellow to yellow, it didn't go from dark yellow to colorlessness, so it wasn't like an extreme change, it was a sort of a subtle change. And so what we can assume is that it's going to go to a faint yellow, because if you see here as it's adjusting color, it's going to be an 8, it's going to be close to yellow, but it's going to be a little bit lighter than the yellow before it, so we're going to go with faint yellow. That is our answer.